Hey guys, John to be Quinn here, the author of Someone Like Me. Time for another video blog. March is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, so I wanted to get on here and talk about some of the myths that are out there, still out there, when it comes to cerebral palsy. I've talked about some of this stuff before, but I thought it would be good to go over it again, and maybe you can add to my list here. I look forward to hearing from you. There's a myth out there that cerebral palsy is progressive, meaning that it gets worse as you get older. I haven't had that experience. I believe that the cerebral palsy you have as a young man or woman is going to be the cerebral palsy that you deal with as you get older. There's a myth out there that people grow out of cerebral palsy, that you might have it as a baby, as an infant, as a young adult, but as you get older, you get better. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that to be true. I'm getting ready to turn 55. I still have cerebral palsy. I work hard to try and overcome some of the effects of cerebral palsy, but I still have cerebral palsy. There's a myth out there that every case of cerebral palsy is the same. This is not true. This is very important. Every case of cerebral palsy is unique to that individual. Some, like myself, have what's considered a mild case of cerebral palsy, while others, and know that cerebral palsy affects every muscle in your body, some are affected to the point where they have to use a power chair, a wheelchair, have to use braces, a walker, a breathing device, maybe some technology to help them with their speech. But they're still people. It doesn't mean that they can't do great things. But every case of cerebral palsy is unique to that individual. There's a myth out there that everybody who has cerebral palsy is in a wheelchair. No, that's not true. I don't use a wheelchair, never have had to use a wheelchair. And just because I have cerebral palsy doesn't mean that I am going to be using one. There's a myth out there that someone with cerebral palsy can't be successful, can't work. Well, this just isn't true. I think oftentimes what people with cerebral palsy want is just the opportunity to be successful. People with cerebral palsy often stand different, look different, run different. And I believe that our society, and especially when it comes to the workforce, it says, well, you can't do the job. How about you give them the opportunity to show what they can do before we just brush people aside like that? But I've known some very successful people with cerebral palsy, and again, I believe that people with any disability are some of the best workers out there. Just give them a chance. Let them show what they can do for you. I think there's a myth out there that people with cerebral palsy are not smart. I think this is just not true. And I think that comes from the simple fact that, again, people with cerebral palsy often have a hard time articulating themselves because of their cerebral palsy. They might have a hard time speaking or have to use technology to help them with their speaking. But I believe that people with CP are some of the smartest people I've ever met. Simply because you have to be smart to overcome a lot of the challenges that you face in society with cerebral palsy. There's a myth out there that people with cerebral palsy can't have sex, be married, have families, raise children. Yeah, this just isn't true. I'm not even going to go any further on that one. It's just beyond silly. I think that there's a thought or a myth that everybody who has cerebral palsy is classified as disabled. This is not true. I'm not classified as disabled. I don't have I don't draw a disability. Some people do, but not everybody does. So that's just a myth that I believe is out there. People often ask me, well, you don't really have to work, do you? And this goes into another myth that I've got written down here, is that I think society thinks that because I have cerebral palsy that I'm given thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every month to handle my every need I want for nothing, because I'm drawing money from the state or from the federal government because I have a quote-unquote disability. It's not true. It's not how it works, you know. And I just want to put an end to that myth right there. There's a myth out there also that those of us with cerebral palsy can't be an athlete, can't be in shape and work hard to take care of ourselves. You know, I know from my own personal story, I've run about a dozen half marathons and one full marathon, 4 hours and 25 minutes. You can look it up, San Diego Marathon. But heck, I've known guys with cerebral palsy that are just crushing it out there in the sports world. Everything from completing Ironman World Championships to climbing Mount Kilimanjaro to scaling, parks in Yosemite, spots in Yosemite. It's just amazing. So, yeah, you can be an athlete. And if you work out and you say you're an athlete, okay? So get it done. No excuses. So these are some of the myths that I've got written down. If you want to add to this list, please feel free. I look forward to hearing from everybody, and I appreciate it. If you haven't read my book, please pick up a copy. It's called Someone Like Me, an unlikely story of challenge and triumph over cerebral palsy. I was in the Navy for 20 years and never told anybody that I had cerebral palsy. Stood every watch on aircraft carriers, battleships, and destroyers. Even commissioned SEAL Team 3. No, I am not a Navy SEAL, but that story's in the book. Check it out. I'll put a link to my website below. Please share this video and have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.